Hi everyone, it's Jerry. This is a round 8 game from the 2016 Candidates Tournament between Fabiano Caruana, playing on the white end, and Hikaru Nakamura. This is the second half of this tournament. These two players met in round 1, where Nakamura had the white pieces. Colors are reversed in this round 8. Caruana enters with 3.5 points, all draws up until this point, and a full point back from co-leaders Sergei Karyakin and Levan Aronian. Nakamura has 3 points, a win, 2 losses, and 4 draws. Let's see how this round 8 would play out. Caruana opens with e4, Nakamura replying e5, knight f3, knight c6, Ruy Lopez on board, d3 system, bishop c5, and bishop takes knight. This is a move I covered in detail in a recent upload to this channel. A game from Tata Steel 2016, Wei versus David Navarra. Feel free to give that game a look if you'd like to learn a little bit more about this specific move. D takes C follows, knight for bishop exchange on board, knight for bishop imbalance, along with a structural imbalance. Knight b to d2, black castles, queen e2. Does not commit the king so quick. Stays flexible with the king's residence. Some attention is now given to e5, some attack and defense. Bishop d2. Preparing queenside castles, also stays out of the knight's way. Bishop e3 would interfere with that. Black opens up a couple new possibilities, and queenside castles it is. So what do we do here? Opposite sides castles. Opposite sides castling type game. Time is a very important factor. You're really looking to do 3 things in such position types. A, create pawn tension on the side of the board where the enemy king is. B, make a pawn capture. And C, get your rooks on that half-open file towards the enemy king, or open file towards the enemy king. That said, this is what provokes a move such as b5, advancing towards the A, B, and C pawns where the white king is. Doing so with an attack against the knight. A5, creeping closer towards the A, B, and C pawns, looking to create that pawn tension. How does white do that on the king side? First, starts off with knight f5, improving the knight, making way for bishop g5, which hits after black's a4. And black now has only 2 options, f6 or knight f6. In the game it was f6. Knight f6 is certainly awkward, going into a self-pin. There's some downside connected with that, of course. The knight is now restricted, so too is the queen. In the game it was f6. The bishop drops back to e3, which is the preferred square, better of these 2 highlighted squares, d3 and e3. It opens up possibilities for maybe d4, and immediately the rook would have an influence over that square. Additionally, it stays out of the queen's way. She might want to control some second-rank squares. There are some ideas black can undertake where they form a battery along this diagonal and provoke a b3 move. And in the event of b3, after a takes and c takes, the queen would really like to control some of these second-rank squares. In short, the bishop stands better on e3. Additionally, and maybe more importantly, f6 is helping white to do what? Be that much quicker to create pawn tension towards the enemy king. It will now only take 1, 2 moves before pawn tension is created. What follows is knight c5, g4. White would really like to see bishop takes knight so that white can open up the g file. Not going to happen. Bishop e6 instead. King b1 to defend. b4. Not the only idea present in the game. Not a bad move, of course. Looking for maybe b3 or a3. Another idea might include queen d7 and queen f7, forming a battery at a2, looking to provoke maybe b3, or queen d7 with bishop f7 and then queen e6. This last note I'm making about a battery where the queen is the leader takes a little bit more time, one more tempo, when compared to this battery here. Is it worth the time investment? I'm not so sure. It's something to consider. These are some ideas that are present in this position right here. It's not only b4, but ideas connected with queen d7, queen f7, or having the bishop on f7 and the queen on e6. In the game, what happens? It's b4. Black gets on with advancing pawns towards the white king, still seeking that pawn tension. g5. White is hitting first, creating pawn tension. Black is there one move later, b3. And now we have rook h to g1. The g file will open up. Notice white is holding off on this capture. I did say create pawn tension, make a pawn capture, but this is a move. Yes, it's opening up the g file, but white is able to develop a new piece with the recapture. So notice there is some patience, of course. Once this tension has been created, white is what? White is not so quick to just make a capture and help improve the quality of one of the black pieces. Instead, rook h to g1. Black goes in for b takes a, and the white king hides behind the pawn. Bishop takes knight. E takes bishop. This is not the only idea. After rook h to g1, capturing on a2 is not the only idea. Another try is to invest some tempi, a tempo or two with securing the black king position. Another idea is g6, and after knight h6, king h8, getting off of the g file and not allowing white to crash through on the g7 square with the knight and rook. This was another idea in the game to, again, invest some tempi to defend, to secure the black king position. But black goes immediately in for the capture on a2. King a1. Capturing now the knight. E takes. And now a3. So what do we do here? We bypass that pawn. Keep the a file closed. We don't want to be so quick to welcome exchanges on the white end. This rook, well, the white king is doing what? He's pretty much using the black pawns in a way as they're almost like defenders for the white king. The a file, the rook won't harm the white king for as long as the a pawns are around. So he just bypasses with b3. The knight now looks to reposition, looking to jump into b4. Maybe even ideas connected with bishop b4 and then into c3. White rules this knight b4 move out altogether, and we can observe from the clock times quite a bit of time was spent on this move. It's a critical move for sure. Great weaknesses are created. The two squares that are weakened greatly, of course, are b3 and d3, the squares the pawn no longer controls after c3. And there's squares that could come under fire and do come under fire in a short while from now. First, bishop f8. White now repositions, looking at this strong post e4. F takes, rook takes. Taking with the rook is better, because now white is one step closer to getting yet another major piece on this half-open g-file. Knight c5, rook g3 is a strong move. This is indirectly lending some support to d3. This pawn is indirectly defended. What is played next is e4. Something other than that, suppose black goes in for this capture. Why is this not good? Because after queen takes, knight e4 does what? Throws a punch at the knight and the rook. There is this threat of knight f6, taking advantage of the pin. What to do here? Black is going to lose the exchange. Rook here, knight f6 as mentioned, and let's say going here, defending the knight and sidestepping this fork. This allows bishop g5. Ouch. Rook is hit, and there we see the point of this lateral defense. We see the point of this rook g3 move. Pawn cannot be captured, although in the computer's eyes at this point it is considered best. What is tried is e4. Bishop takes knight. Bishop takes, knight takes e4. White is without question the better side, the winning side here, a very strong knight. Black is not successful with getting at the white king, whereas white already has a rook on this half-open file, soon to be two major pieces going right after the black king. You really can't say that the knight is only worth 3 points on this e4 square. Possibilities for f6. It is white who is simply crashing through against the black king first. What's tried is bishop d6. Something like bishop takes pawn is not working because white can take, and a move like rook takes knight, trying to take advantage of this pin, can be met with rook d to g1. Now not only is the rook hit, but so too is g7. This does not work because of f6, and the black king is getting crunched. So what is tried is bishop d6, rook h3, looking for queen h5 ideas, converging on h7. This is an overwhelming attack. Cannot defend this. Bishop e5, d4, bishop f6, rook g1, rook b8. White scoops up a pawn, and it's really tough to suggest anything here. Playing queen here is running right into knight takes f6. Queen has a certain responsibility, so black tries to get out of a situation where the queen needs to defend the bishop like this with bishop h4, so that here and then here is a possibility, but it's never working out. After rook g4, queen d5 is in fact tried, but after c4, black already throws in the towel. Queen is hit, the bishop is hit, and black's going to be losing a minor piece. Queen takes pawn, rook takes here. There's no attack against the white king. In short, white was the one who is successful with generating an attack against the enemy king first. Sometimes how it works, well, many times how it will work in opposite sides castling type games. Whoever throws that first punch successfully is usually the successful side, the one who is able to then dictate play. Some other idea for black, it's really tough to suggest what other move might be good here. If the king is going here, again, there's queen h5, move like h6, we could actually just taking here, it's mate. It's an overwhelming attack. There's not a good defense here. I imagine a move like rook here is even a possibility. Yeah, it's like pick your favorite way to go about winning this. We have all pieces attacking the black king, a rook that if something isn't happening on b3, he's basically out of play, and the queen and rook, they're not really doing too much. You really can't get at the white king. So again, at this point right here, after c4, black ended up resigning. If I'm to just go back and highlight the key moment, or one of the key moments, again, it was right around this moment where there are different ideas in mind, as mentioned, having some battery along this diagonal, looking to induce a b3 advance, and also there may come a time where you need to, in these opposite sides castling games, it's it's a tough call. I mean, what black was doing here with b3 and then b takes a was very direct play, looking to open up the king position, the white king position, but trying to find that balance of going after the enemy king, but also taking some, making some prophylactic moves for your own king, investing some tempi to maybe secure your own king position. G6 was certainly another move to look into on this move 18 for black. Instead of b takes a, again, black could have looked into a prophylactic move, a defensive move, investing at least this one tempo to secure the king position a little bit better, allow knight h6, king h8, and it's still a very difficult game, a quite complicated game. I would say the computer even cites a move like a5, takes, queen takes. Bishop here could actually be met with queen takes with then a knight f7 check move. Queen e7 is even a follow-up, and it's quite a messy game. To take it a little bit further, it cites a line like this. This would actually be favoring black, a line like that, after bishop takes knight. But it's certainly a much more dynamic game. As it turns out in this one, it was quite lopsided. It was a one-sided affair. White got through with their attack first and kind of just fell apart for black as a result. So again, after this c4 move, this game, striking at the queen, white is next going to be picking up the bishop again. After c4, Nakamura resigned, and with that, Caruana actually approaches the leaders. He's now only a half point behind the leaders, Sergei Karyakin and Levan Aronian, as the three other games from this round 8 ended up as a draw. So we'll see how things play out. There's still a lot more tournament to go in this candidates tournament. So we'll see how it all plays out and who will be the challenger for Magnus Carlsen. All right, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback in the comment section below to this video, and I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.